All right. Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our chat today. I am here with our growth marketing team. I'm Steph Sarf. I am one of the recruiters who supports hiring for this group, and I'm based in Portland, Oregon, and I'll be moderating a Q&A to get to know all of these lovely folks a little bit better. And so, Erica, you want to kick us off with just who you are, where you are, and then what you do at GitLab.
Sure. So I'm Erica Flowers, and I am based out of Chicago, Illinois, the Windy City, Sears Tower, not Willis. I manage the digital production team, and so that's pretty much all things video, audio, and multimedia. And I work very closely with a lot of folks on this call, the design team.
I'm Monica Galetto. I am a production designer on the brand design team. I'm located in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I design a variety of things that represent our brand, or including like ebooks and like assets for conferences, digital ads, social, swag items, all the fun stuff where we can stick our logo on it.
So I'm Luke. I am based in Colorado Springs, Colorado, and I manage our brand design team. So Monica pretty much covered everything that we do, but essentially designing collateral for conversion, help out generating leads for the product.
Cool. And then just to get to know you all a little bit more, like I would just love to hear why you chose GitLab. Like what was it about GitLab that made you want to join the team? And Luke, I'd love to start with you.
Sure, awesome. Yeah, so quite frankly, I didn't know a ton about GitLab before I joined. So really just looking for a remote job way back in 2016, I think. So that was what really drew me to GitLab in the first place, was not only the fact that I could work from home, but just the culture they've built around it. And having a really young family at the time, it was a perfect fit.
And for me, I was looking for a way to kind of like marry, almost 2 decades of media experience with tech. So I was doing a 6-month development boot camp to strengthen my skills in tech, because I had been just kind of learning and doing random things on my own. And in that course, we used GitLab. So I kind of got familiar with the product and like knew a little bit about what it was there. And upon completing the program, I decided to check and see if GitLab might have, something that aligned with what I was looking to do. And, saw a content marketing role and applied, and here I am now.
For me, it was a combination of the values and also the flexible, all remote culture. So the values really allowed me to continue doing what I want to do, but in a more like streamlined fashion. And the working all remotely, it has given me more flexibility to have a balanced lifestyle, just more time with friends and family and doing my hobbies outside of work that I'm also passionate about.
Definitely. I agree with all of those things. All of those reasons, same. And then I guess what advice would you want to give someone who was interested in joining the team and just GitLab in general? Monica, you want to kick us off there?
Yeah, so going back to the values, I think it's important that those resonate with you as well, because they are constantly being incorporated in like channel discussions, interactions with one another, and in our project discussions. Everyone has this sense that we're constantly like asking ourselves, like, how can we improve this, or improve like these interactions we're having so that they align better to our values. So I love that we're really like walking the talk on those.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with Monica. Definitely going up on, our values, because that's a really big part of like GitLab. And then beyond that, I would say, just be ready to work hard and work fast. We are the epitome of like a startup and startup culture, even now as we're growing. So you have to be pliable and ready to pivot when needed and produce quickly, and then continue to iterate from there along the way.
Definitely. I think that's one thing that I've noticed too about GitLab is like when you think that you've done something, like it's not, it like maybe isn't done, like there's multiple iterations that can happen because we want the best results at the end of the day too. And going back to something that Monica said too, when we're hiring, I think that we do hire for values fits and not culture fit. And I think that there's a big difference between those two things. So And then kind of going into hiring, I guess for the hiring managers, would love to hear just sorts of like what skills you look for when interviewing candidates, whether it's hard or soft skills, when you're looking to fill roles on your teams.
Yeah, so I think on the design side, obviously resumes and portfolios can tell you a lot and they're pretty straightforward. So I think aside from that, really try to look for in the video interview, how well they articulate their work and their work experience clearly and concisely. I think, the GitLab culture in working asynchronously, I think it really comes into play. Working here. Sorry, my kids are here now.
Love it.
And then, thinking about hard skills, in a general sense, without getting into a bunch of like design details, just really the ability for them to take on the work autonomously for the role they're applying for and just really take ownership and kind of, with very little direction, just kind of, take off from the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would, echo Luke's sentiments, both on just obviously the hard skills, right? That's kind of a basic. But then the ability to communicate well is definitely something I look for in considering for the digital production team, since that is what we do, right? We communicate. What is GitLab? Who are we? What are we doing? Our messaging. Also, in working async, folks need to be able to clearly communicate, what they're working on, what their needs are, what are we trying to get done here, and what do you need from someone else? So, those strong communication skills are tantamount to success at GitLab. And I would also say the ability to collaborate is something that I look for, not only because it's a value of GitLab, but also because collaboration is such a critical part of producing great video and audio content. And because my team works with, pretty much every team in the organization, supporting messaging for everyone. So you definitely need to be able to collaborate well.
Yep, definitely. And ask for help when you need it, right? And reach, and then last question is just what personally is your favorite thing about working at GitLab, or what do you think is unique about our work style and environment? Monica, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so we are seen as people first and employees second. And you can see that from your peers that you're working alongside with to your manager, all the way up to Sid. Everyone's really great about acknowledging that, you're a human with a life and emotions outside of work, or that can be brought to work. So everyone really prioritizes, entrusting in you that you will do what's best for your well-being or the well-being of your loved ones. So it just makes for a really healthy work environment.
Yeah, and I would agree with what Monica said. And then also for me, moving into the tech industry, I wanted to make sure I didn't get bored now that I wasn't that daily news cycle where there's things going on nonstop. And that has never been an issue with GitLab because we are fast-paced. And if you come from that kind of environment, a fast-paced environment, or even in an industry and you're looking at GitLab, it's definitely, you're not going to be bored. You're not going to be what's going on here. So for me, that was my biggest thing and what I love about GitLab. I also enjoy the autonomy to do my work and without, this hovercraft of someone doing. So just being able to get what I need to get done. And the trust that my managers and the team has in me to do that. And then also just being able, I've been here for 2.5 years, the ability to contribute to shaping the course of the company. That's not just, fluff talk. It's actually real. So you can open an issue, you can voice your opinions. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I think, first of all, it's super hard to pick just one, but, I think personally, I would second kind of Monica's sentiment and say kind of the value of family and friends first. I work from home with 2 kids most of the time, so it really takes the pressure off, to know that the company and every individual, values each person and, their personal lifestyle. So takes pressure off for me and then allows me to, be really good at what I do for GitLab, but also, as a parent and, make it work for me. So there's no expectation to be sitting in a chair from 9 to 5, like Erica mentioned, somebody hovering over you. you just figure out what works for you and get the work done.
Yep, definitely. I think all those things, and also like that we're going back to like the trust piece, like we're all trusted to do our work,
Right.
and we live our lives and then we also work, and those two things can go together, right?
Exactly.
I think we were talking about this earlier too, but just like the piece of like not being so stressed out all the time. Like my friends and family have really commented on that too, like just seems so much like happier. So I think that that's one thing that like GitLab, I'm thankful that it's given me that opportunity. But so thank you all. I really appreciate your time and really appreciate you taking some minutes to chat about just what you do here and your experiences with our audience. And whoever's watching, we really appreciate your interest in GitLab. Feel free to connect with us on LinkedIn, and thanks for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.
Yep.